Perfect. So what I going to do. They're different.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bruce Broman. I'm the First Council President for 2025. This is going to be a sole update. I'm gonna have each of the council members who are here just raise their hand one by one and say their name. And then I will proceed with the proceed from there. All right.
Okay.
First.
All right, so I'm the committee chair for adult ed. And so create this forum and people come and talk and tell us all about a lot of things.
I'm Tim Sharp in the worship committee.
Gonna have to talk louder.
And the worship committee. Got it?
Kay DeVries, and I am chair of the mission committee at present. Pat Wilson, children and youth representative.
Not the committee.
Pat Flicker, co-chair of the evangelism committee.
DeFreeze, property.
All right.
Debbie Niemeyer, vice president and also representing the legacy committee. Jill Abrahamson, treasurer.
We're gonna start off with a report from Jill Abramson, the treasurer, about our accounts so far this year. And then we're gonna have a little report from each of the other representatives thereafter.
So on your table, there is just a quick snapshot kind of where we're sitting. I did do a comparison for the first quarter of 2024 as well. And then it's also included the 2025 budget that we approved back in January. So you can see that our general fund receipts, our general fund giving, compared to budget in 2024, we are down. Not by much. I think a big portion of that probably is due to
Just one.
Easter in 2024 fell in March. I think now in April, with Easter being in April, we'll kind of get caught up there and get back on track a little bit, but again, not off by a whole lot there. There's actual expenses for each of our committees for 2024, 2025 budget there as well, and then actual expenses for 2025. All of our committees are under budget, with the exception of property a little bit over, but again, some of that is kind of time of year too. We have our utilities, and depending on when our snow, that kind of, there was bills that came in, for December that were paid in January. We're gonna see that expense in January. So again, but not over by much. And again, this is just the first 3 months of the year. Despite the general fund giving being down a little bit, overall giving has increased by $25,000 more compared to last year. And you can see kind of on the bottom, mission of the month, an extra almost $3,000 this year, which is good. The building use fund, that had a significant increase, and a portion of that, there was a $10,000 donation to cover the electrical panel this year. Capital campaign giving, there was an extra 14,000 compared to last year that was given this quarter. And then also our canoes, I think that was a new thing that we started about a month ago, just shy of $4,000 towards that. So overall giving again was up by 25,000, same quarter last year. So, and I also included our capital campaign info. When we started the capital campaign in 2024, our mortgage balance was at 363. We are down to 103,000. And just to kind of give you a little, there's kind of a timing issue with some payments. We have 2 payments that will be hitting in April. So that balance will be below 57,000 by the end of April. So we'll be done by the end of the year, or before the end of the year. And I know, Dave had said he noticed there were some markings as far as the assessments. So he was thinking, depending when they start, we may see that like 2027. So anything extra that we get towards capital campaign will be set aside to help cover those street assessments.
I mean, one of the thoughts is that if we're done early, the mortgage, we can start escrowing.
There, that one.
Then. Can start as well.
So that's kind of where we're at. Pledges received for capital campaign through the end of March was 263,000. So again, that was above and beyond. We've done an excellent job. I think we're on pace. Questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you, Jill. You've really done so much in the last few years and not everybody knows that. Thank you.
Well, you.
Yeah.
Who would like to speak next?
I will speak next. Okay, so adult ed, I've been working.
All but.
All of it.
Pulpit.
All of it.
Okay, right.
Reach a king.
Okay, so adult ed, I've been involved with adult ed, a long time. Not just here, in previous churches as well. You know, I grew up Catholic. People who know me know a little bit about that. And one thing that I really appreciated about the Lutheran church when I started to go with Ken was the adult ed section. I just loved that. There were just all kinds of different topics and, you know, people would present different information. And the way I thought about it is that it's just another perspective of my faith and building my faith and getting tools to build my faith. So that's why I like adult ed. And when I was asked to head this up a few years back, I really did not want to. But I thought, okay, you know, if I want adult ed because I like it, I guess I better step up and do something about it. So I did. And so I've been involved now for a few years. And what I'd say in general is that as far as looking back, we've had a number of great speakers. Retired Pastor Jan Nairn has given us a lot of information. She is highly valued as what she knows and what she can tell us. And then we've also had, you know, sometimes we've had a theme like who is your neighbor to be good to our neighbor. And so there's just been a number of things talked about. The pastors have been fantastic contributors to this over the years. And so if you have any ideas about going forward with adult ed, I'd love to hear them. I'm always welcome to the ideas. And I think that's about it. I mean, just a really nice time to get together and have another perspective on our faith. Any questions? Oh, thank you.
I'm Tim Trevor and I'm on the worship committee. I'm the chair of the worship committee. I have been involved with the worship committee for about 3 years or so, and this year I stepped up to become the chair. And when I think about the worship committee, I think about how it has 3 really important ministries for our church. It has the worship aspect, it has the environment aspect, and it has the music aspect. This committee helps to plan, develop, and evaluate our shared worship life. It's responsible for worship scheduling, worship environment, worship technology, and worship music. It relies on the theological leadership of our pastors and the guidance of our pastors and the professional advisement of our music minister. The worship environment team is responsible for the decorating of the sanctuary and the narthex for the different seasons of the church year. And our music teams share their talents and keep the congregation praising God through song. Members of the congregation are always invited and encouraged to take part in worship services as readers, ushers, communion distributors, running the soundboard, and taking part in the home communion program. Members of the congregation are also invited to join one or more of our worship committee teams and ministries. Our meetings are always held on the second Thursday of each month at 2:00 in the afternoon. Are there any questions or comments that anybody has? Yes.
I've been hearing, and I guess I know too through family, that our hearing device, it's very difficult for hearing people.
Okay,
To hear and see what's going on, and those devices don't seem to be working anymore. Oh, nobody takes them because they don't work. Oh. And, I think we should know.
didn't know that.
About it, maybe somebody would like to donate or something, but people have to know that.
Thanks. I didn't realize that either, so that's good to know.
Yeah, those are 7 or 8 years old now. So they might even just need a firmware update. Well, we can look into
We'll
that.
check into it, yeah. Thanks for letting us know that, Mary Ann. Yes.
I've looked into some of those devices and so on, and some of the solutions are to put a loop in, but that's something like a $50,000 to $100,000 investment. So other options are probably better than that. And I guess the main thing I have difficulty hearing too is to have the people that are speak directly into the microphone. If somebody is not speaking into the microphone, people that have a difficult time hearing don't hear. They don't know what's going on. So you really need to train people to have your mouth right there and speak right into the mic. I think that'll handle about 80 to 90% of the problem.
Okay, thanks, Marcus. Great, thank you.
There.
Well, I guess I wasn't listening very closely on being prepared to speak or tell what mission is doing. We, as you all know, we do mission of the month, and the committee itself decides to do the entire calendar year, January to December, every year, so that we kind of have a plan in place. We are open to suggestions, so if there's something new that's come to your attention that may require funding in any way or volunteers in any way, we're always willing to listen to that. One of the things that Chris Boyle helped me understand about the mission of the month in particular is that we educate our congregation about what we're doing and why. And lately, the generosity of this congregation has just exploded. It's just so tickled every time. The total has been for whatever we're campaigning for. And then you heard from Kathy this morning about Fair for All. That's kind of the newest thing we have, and it's not really a mission. It is a community service that the pastors felt would be really appreciated in this area of town. And the mission has kind of taken that on and recruited volunteers for it. Questions? Good. I am Pam Flipson. I am not the chairman of children and youth. I just represent the children and youth. And I was reflecting on how, as a longtime member of this church, 37 years, I remember the hallways teeming with littles on Sunday morning, running to their Sunday school rooms to hear their lesson and learn their story. And that's kind of morphed into now, for those of you who don't come on Wednesdays, Wednesday night.
this building teams with kiddos from 3 years old through middle school, early high school. We have lots of opportunities for them. Wednesday school has taken the place of Sunday school where they learn their lesson, do their arts and crafts and have their little offerings. Some of the things that we do, the really important things, for me anyway, are the packing events that we do every month. A different community project is chosen. In fact, last week was Pockets of Hope, where we packed backpacks with personal care items, a blanket, some little toys that goes through Child Advocacy Center for those kiddos that are in foster care situations. And maybe they're new to foster care or going from one place to another, and they actually have something to take with that they can call their own. I really like there's multiple ones. We do some of the other ones, the Homeless Helping Homeless, where we pack the lunches. 100 lunch bags are packed along with winter gear in the winter time, and that there's 2 separate ones usually. We do blizzard bags that last year we split between St. Cloud Hospital as well as McKinley Area Learning Center. Food items, so that at least for the hospital, if there's inclement weather and the drivers can't get out to deliver the meals, at least they have a meal to get them by until their next meal is possibly delivered. There's just so many different packing projects, and it's not just for the kids. 3 or 4 years ago, when I first started on Children and Youth Committee, and we started, you might have a handful of people, kids usually, that would pack them. And now on Wednesday night, church lets out on packing night, and we have too much help, which is usually not a bad thing, but sometimes it is. We've done cookies for emergency responders, which are hospital, sheriff, police, South Rapids, St. Cloud, Sartell, ambulance service. That was the March packing one, but we still have Vacation Bible School. They still get a Bible when they're in 3rd grade and 6th grade. First Communion, they get the opportunity to make the bread that will be used when they have their First Communion. Global Farms starts in November, and that's where their little donations they bring go to support farms for people in other countries, and you can get 10 chickens for $10. I mean, over the store, trying to find a chicken for 10. Not happening. That provides not only food, but a way for these families to make some money. Maybe they sell the eggs from the chickens, but I mean, I could stand here until noon and tell you some of the things. When I first started on it, I thought, okay, I'll give it a whirl. And it's really morphed into quite the Wednesday night event. So Wednesday night TV is boring, so come some Wednesday and see what we do. And you'll find out that we think it's really an important ministry to have for these kids. It makes them aware of not just what goes on here, but what the needs are in the community as well. We're always looking for members. So when you come on Wednesday night, there will be a sign-up sheet.
Yes, this confirmation ball in this.
Oh, that's in there too, but it's usually the confirmation kids that are kind of help with the packing projects. There's also, we still have Luther Crest and opportunities for them to go to summer camp, winter outings. But yeah, that's all part of the children and youth. You have to talk to the preachers about that. Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Also missed the memo that we were gonna have to get up and talk. I thought it was gonna be more of a conversation at the table thing. So I'm Pat Flicker and Nancy, and I always just call her Nancy because I can't say her last name, but Sokola. Thank you. That's why she's Nancy to me. And I co-chair the evangelism committee. And it was resurrected. I understand it was here a while ago and then it wasn't. And so we were kind of tasked with starting it up and creating what we felt would help with evangelism. And one of the first things we did is we created a welcome packet for new members or for people looking at joining Atonement. And we put everything in there. They get a tour of the church now. They get, there's just a lot of different information, all the different organizations that they can join. It's much more of a welcoming feel and presence. We also do postcards before Christmas and Easter and in the fall before school starts. And we get a new residents, new neighbors list every month. So that's got all the people that have moved into the community. So I go off of that list. We send about between 300 and 400 postcards each time we send out. And we don't duplicate them. So we send them to people in our community that have moved. So that's a really big part of what we do. We also put a little bit out on social media, not nearly enough, but there's only so much people can do. But we try to keep a little bit out there on social media. And you'll notice the boards out there for Ministry of the Month. So we're highlighting each month a different ministry. And we've done greeters, we've done music. The next one's gonna be the quilters, so that'll be coming out next week. So make sure you take a look at those each month. They're really quite interesting, and it's a way to let people know what we're doing. Because we're doing amazing things at Atonement, and a lot of people that even go here don't know all the different opportunities. And then one of our other big projects that you're gonna be seeing soon is we're taking down the pictures on the wall out here. And you might have been seeing me walk around with my camera and shooting different photos. We've been taking pictures of children and youth and some adults and different things. You're gonna see me over the next couple of weeks. I need 3 more photos to get 10. So you're gonna see me, I might be even going up and I'd like to get one with people going to communion. So I'm gonna be a photographer over the next couple of weeks, taking a few more photos, and they'll go on the wall. And we can change them out whenever, if we get a really neat photo opportunity or whatever, we can change the photos out just to show when people walk in the door, if they're interested in Atonement and they walk in and they see pictures and photos of us being family, faith family, I think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we've tried really hard with is to work with the pastors. If they see anyone coming in that's new, then they can hand them off to one of our group, and we will kind of walk with them and bring them in for coffee, whatever. And so we're always going for ideas of how we can do things differently, that we can be more welcoming and reach more people to come and try out Atonement. So if you have any ideas, we'd love to hear, or you're welcome to join us. We meet Thursday nights, the second Thursday, 7 o'clock. So. Question.
Are you doing the social media stuff?
I do very little. It's kind of between us two. Yeah.
Cool.
And we're gonna try to contract with somebody who does that.
Yeah.
job.
That's gonna.
Go.
Mhm.
So
I have a plan.
that's my gift.
Yeah.
Bobby Freeze, the chair of the co-chair of the property committee, Thor Larson is the other co-chair. I guess the first thing I'd say is, in the years that I worked in higher ed and hotel and resort management, I have never worked with a committee as good as this committee. So I just have to tell you that first of all, when you need something done, it doesn't take any arm twisting. These folks are ready to go. And, a lot of this stuff is, labor intensive, and, our youngest members are in their mid-60s. So this is pretty good for a bunch of old folks. Anyway, tell you some of the things that, we've been doing on the interior. We've been doing some room swapping, and maybe you found out by mistake, you might not have heard, but our kitchen storage used to be in the choir room in the closet. That was inconvenient for a lot of reasons, so that's now moved into the old preschool office, the room that's just down from the kitchen. Some of you know that already.
Yep, learned that the hard way.
Yeah, there you go. Haven't had a tour of the church in a while.
Couldn't find anything.
Leading a sanctuary full of an audience for the orchestra that I'm in. And I'm setting up for the refreshments and I can get into no room. Okay, Baba.
Just saying, right?
I've already told.
I heard that one, it's been noted and,
Love you anyway.
that court, so the room that we had the kitchen stuff in is now dedicated for music storage, so all the extra music stuff is in there, which is good. We've, the youth room used to be 4 sections of rooms in the middle of the north hallway. And what we've done is, we've not taken any of the services, or any of the abilities to recreate in there. But we've reduced that size in half, and then we have storage in the third room. We have Special Olympics is renting that area for storage, and then our property committee storage isn't important. That opened up 2 rooms in the salt and for rental and for other purposes. The coats, the coat drive, we work with the Catholic churches, and the rooms on in the northwest corner, the last 2 rooms, they've been used for quite a while. Those coats are going to be leaving in May, and they're going to be going to what, St. Anthony?
St. Anthony.
St. Anthony, so we're going to have 2 more rooms, so we will be, after they move the stuff, then we'll go in there and figure out what happened and make those rooms usable again.
Can I add at this point?
Sure.
I own a woman who we all have gotten to know. She called to tell me about that, but it was most important to her that we all don't feel like they are unhappy here. They have loved their time with us. Hope the relationships continue. It's the place at St. Anthony can leave the coats on hangers all the time.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, yeah, that's right. But she hopes that we continue to be involved with them, and she's so grateful for the time we've had together here. And including Loretta, she was like right in the with.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. We will be, the Bell Choir, we're working on some facilities, upgraded facilities for them, and we're one possibility is taking over the old preschool room with the old with the kitchen set in there, and another is to redo the room we're in right now. So anyway, we're working on that as well. We've replaced toilets, got carpet cleaned, and this week, Pastor John's most disappointing issue, I don't know, disappointing is not the right word. Frustrating.
Rage.
It does fill him with rage. I have seen his rage regarding the paper towel dispenser. The paper towel dispensers will be leaving, and we will have ones that are manual, one that you pull down instead of having to replace batteries in. And so it's gonna take a little more effort to get your paper towel. The chance of getting your paper towel will increase. Yeah. We had an option, we were gonna give him a battery pack. Plug in the other one to, you see athletes and stuff with the towel or. That he wasn't in favor of that.
The towel D.
Yeah. We thought about that for a little, Senator. I guess the other thing is we could pressure wash him, spray off.
Anything would be better than what we have.
If you want to hear more about that, talk to Pastor John. Be prepared for about 5-10 minutes.
That's not costing us anything.
No.
They're just grading them out.
The company provides the paper towel dispenser, so that's good. And actually our people turn paper towel. So that's good. Let's see, exterior. You notice in front here, it looks like we got a couple outdoor bowling lanes or something like that. Anyway, you'll see that come together this spring, or actually this summer. There's vegetation, some native vegetation that'll be planted in there. And we chose to do it that way rather than plant the whole thing, because if we planted the whole thing, it might look like a big weed patch. And, way you'll really see the, I think you'll like it. We really, Tim was, spearheaded that. Looking forward to seeing how that's gonna, progress.
That should start coming in at the end of May. Right now, our perennials that they're gonna be planting in there are, as you know, perennials take a little while to come back in the spring, so
Yep.
he's got those going for us. And the designs there will be planted according to color, so there'll be red batches and yellow batches and that type of thing, so. That will be coming, that's through Prairie Landscapes.
And, for a, you wanna make a nice impression when people walk into our church and, for the last few years.
And, yeah,
Dandelions and crabgrass just haven't been cut before, so I think we're really like what you see coming in. Also, on the sides of the building, actually, it's the west side, and then around the corner, Tim and Linda's nephew has a PhD with a specialty in grasses. So we that's been a really handy deal. You'll see a much better landscape on the west and northwest sides of the building as well too. So looking forward to that as well too. May 8th is our spring cleanup. We're cleaning up 12:30 p.m. So we're doing that.
12:30, you said?
Yeah, 12:30 on May 8th. So it's a Thursday. So if you're available, we'd love to have you here. Jill mentioned expenses, and she's already scolded me on that. And, no, she hasn't actually. I just wanted to tell you about some of the expenses. Our electric and gas expenses is much higher this year than it was last year. A couple of reasons. One is, of course, it was a little cooler this year than it was last year. And the second reason is we've been on budget, and our makeup period, we were behind. So we had to pay to cover the amount that we hadn't paid yet. So we hadn't paid enough, basically, in our budget payments, and we're off budget. We're not gonna do budget anymore. We're gonna pay as we go. So, let's see. One other thing I'll just make note is our insurance costs. Our insurance costs for all of our insurance, for 2024 were about $15,000. This year, when we received our bill, they were about 19,000. Well, actually, no, closer to 20,000. And that also included an increase in our deductible on our wind and hail to go from 10,000 to 95,000. So a little bit of an increase in our deductible, only $90,000, which is 1% of the building value. And you may find this, even homeowners insurance is doing the same thing now. I just saw it on mine as well. Anyway, we started to look, and Ralph Carpenter owned an insurance agency in Atonement, and is a wonderful resource. And he really spirited and got us bids, and we went with Northwest Partners agency. They used to be the Apollo agency. Northwest bought the Apollo agency, and we're going with them now. Our costs will increase about between $2,500 and $3,000 a year over what our current provider would be, but we're going to have a $5,000 deductible. So we looked at the committee, and Ralph, executive, everybody basically we've talked to said, is it worth it to spend a little more money, $3,000 a year, to decrease your deductible by, 85 or yeah, that's pretty good. So, that probably isn't gonna last forever, but we should take advantage of it. That's a question. Yeah, I can take my wife's question.
Just curious, there are people been commenting about outside the library windows. You can see the area where we were asked, and basically it was an insurance thing to take down the vines. And all
the vines.
Yeah, all the little suckers on there that need to be cleaned off. Is that part of the fall or spring cleaning?
That isn't, and it should be. So I don't know if it will be done that day, but next week.
It is now.
Oh, so they wouldn't, sure.
I want you to think that I'm gonna take care of my wife's issues first. That's a lot of issues.
Here's a thought that would be nice for some of us. When you do this planting of native plants, it would be lovely to have a list.
Oh, list of plans, yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
Put the name of them.
Yeah, name of it.
idea.
That's-
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
A lot
that's a
of us
great
are
idea.
interested in that in our yards.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Great idea.
Good, thank you.
Do you need extra people for spring cleanup?
If you're available,
And when, you said 2:00,
12:30
12:30? Okay.
on May 8th. And, you know, we kind of will do what we can do based on, the amount of time and the, folks who show up.
How much your wife needs?
So,
How much your wife needs? Yeah.
And unity sometimes helps too.
somebody else, question?
I was hoping you could share what you guys have done to, help, helping homeless or, Place of Hope with that project that you guys did on their western campus.
Oh.
And then my other thing was, could you just let us know who all of our tenants are?
Sure. Okay, so first, this is really not a property committee thing, but, a group of men from Atonement, and really Mark Youssef, especially was instrumental in this. Place of Hope acquired it was a Ramada Inn, over on the west side behind Best Buy in that area. And, that, I believe, Centricare had that as a treatment facility.
Yeah.
Previous to that.
Yeah.
And, a group of us went over there. Marcus was there and, Mark, Phil Sturlux and, several of us went over there and, their idea was for organizations to sponsor a room there. And, in other words, to redo the room. The first two floors are filled. There's basically, people in each of those, rooms.
All families.
This is all
Both
families on the west side, yes. And the third floor, they left open to do the remodeling. So we took a larger room and we painted. Gosh, it's great when a bunch of guys get together and do design like curtains and rain color and something. And you don't kind of get together. You may go over here and say it didn't. We're gonna say it came together. So anyway, beds, new beds, flooring, the bathroom, updated the bathroom. We received donations of about actually $4,100, and I think we have $2 left. So we really hit budget right on the nose, and that was a pure coincidence. That was not planned. So, anyway, that turned out really nice, and there's been additional working on additional rooms, and I'll tell you that Mark, he's been helping with those additional rooms, and hopefully the third floor will be done here in the next month or two. So people will, some of the tenants who are on the first floor or second floor will move up to the third floor now, and then we'll put up another floor that will be remodeled.
So you pay permanent apartments and for families or is it?
Yeah, it's they're hotel rooms, for families. And some of these rooms are bigger. We chose to use one of the bigger ones. So it's kind of a suite that had a little living room and we replaced that, or we put all beds in there so we could have increase the number of occupants and stuff.
It's transitional housing.
Yeah.
It's primarily women with their children and women who are coming out of a treatment program for addiction, or women who are coming from sex trafficking, but they have children to place that they can be, and their meals come from the downtown Place of Hope. The meals are delivered out there. But the real whole point is to give women a safe place to raise their children. School buses from all the different schools come by there and pick up kids and, it's just a great thing and I'm so thrilled you guys were involved.
Yeah, that was really fun to be involved in.
Yeah.
We just, again, we had, just a number of Don Matson,
Jenny, so,
yeah, Denny Hansel,
Any plane.
Yeah.
yeah, Denny Lane,
Good supervisor.
been more involved in. That was tennis, tennis, we have the Unity Organization, of course, which rents, space on the west side and south. And then, I can't say the name of the, Hispanic church.
It was Casa de Orsion, but they changed their name.
Muchas gracias.
Yes.
Por su gracia.
They rent, the sanctuary from us on Sundays and then, they have some, they use some, classrooms as well too. And then we have, I should say Unity as well, will rent other space from us. On a pretty regular basis, they'll have meetings and such, which will rent space from us. So that from a revenue perspective, they're certainly our biggest revenue generator. And it has made a difference in our building fund. We're seeing a nice increase in our building fund as a result of them. So opening up,
They're such good neighbors that most people don't even know they're here,
yeah, that's true.
right? I mean, Pastor Tim and I have wanted to figure out ways we could share some ministry with them, but they're on a different schedule, really.
Yeah.
Their members' work schedules.
But the
And
mission committee is working in collaboration with them on our projects.
yeah, they're just great. They clean up after themselves. They're flexible, really.
You know, one other thing is I think about it, I'll be up there till noon, so I'm gonna. The van, our church van was used all, basically for the last 6 months. Our van was used to transport people from Lincoln Center to the church of well, it's like the church of the week, but basically, churches around the area who would host those folks for, a couple of weeks at a time, week to 2 weeks at a time. And that is now, that season is done now. So we've been looking at options for our van. If you look at it, it's getting a little rusty and it only has 92,000 miles on it for a 2002. That's pretty good. So we, Linda Schreiber applied for a grant and we're gonna see if we get that grant. If we do, we're gonna paint a chartreuse with stripes and we're gonna require the pastors to.
But we can hold it.
The megaphone, yeah.
Hunting buddies, shooting out the windows.
Shaking his head, yes.
We're not gonna put our name on there, it's St. Peter's Catholic. To show them.
Well, Stamp Club still rents from us.
Oh, yeah, there's other groups as well, Stamp Club, group of ours from time to time. Yeah, NA is our biggest support organization, but also Al-Anon as well too. 5 NA groups and an Al-Anon group, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still here?
Oh, yes, Wednesdays. Tops.
Yeah, different. We also have a gambling. Well, they don't actually gamble. Gamble. It's gambling the animals.
My name is Stephanie Meyer and I'm happy to be vice president this year. So big learning year, which is great. I represent Legacy Committee, not the chair on that. We have a very active committee that kind of went away during COVID. Nothing was really happening. So we have probably 7 members now and we're meeting probably 6 times a year this year. Big thing now is scholarships for seniors and we're working on an application. So it's a little bit of a mystery on what our funds are for. So we want people to know what the intent is, mission, scholarships. special things, not for general building maintenance, but we were part of the vine removal. That was a donation to that because that was an insurance requirement. So we want people to know what the requests are. There is around $65,000 in an investment account. We're basically using the interest off of that. Generally 4 to 8% of those funds to be distributed. And we're also getting into thank yous. There's things were missed. We're making sure that funds are going into the right category, capital campaign, legacy, where everything's going. We are going to have to look at some of what's going on with the memorial funds and how those are being used and being used correctly and designated. So working on those things. And again, scholarships, we were fully planning on doing some of the Luther Crest, but everybody was so generous, there wasn't even a need for that last year. So, but very active. And there is a memorial book too that Karen Vollin's really working on. We're if people that have donated to that in the past, you'll be able to put a page in there on your loved one. And that book is going to be out on display somewhere as we get a little more entries into that. So kind of a lasting book that people can look through. So any questions? Thank you. Thank you.
So, I also didn't prepare much, but I do have a fun story for y'all. I am, Grant Grabowski. I'm on the stewardship committee, and if anybody wants to know how to be a committee chairman, be the only one that runs. Pastor John and Pastor Tim, with their advice, had suggested after I did the volunteering last fall that this would be a good fit for me. And, Pastor John's dad, Steve, gave me a stack of research, this thing to do. So I'm excited about it. I already did pin down the outline. It's going to be a 4-part series. What it means to be a good steward about your money, it's good steward of your time, good steward of your church, and good steward of your family. So there's gonna be 4 separate weeks where we'll have a speaker that is called to speak on that for a few minutes at church in the fall here. So I was reminded of a story last weekend. A friend of mine had posted on Facebook. Does anybody have a Paul here thing? They got some walking sticks. It reminded me of the story of Amora. She was about 1.5 2 years ago when I made her first walking stick. Usually I take the walking stick, we sand it down, we carve in where we found it, when we found it, the date and everything. And after we got done with the walking stick, Maura's like, "We're rich, Dad, we're rich." And I'm like, "Okay, we're rich." And I'm looking around, Maura notices all of the sticks on the ground that could be sanded and sold for walking sticks. So a couple weeks ago, he had mentioned, Pastor John mentioned, now we have enough. I would argue that we live in abundance, especially here in America. So just good news, we're all walking stick rich. And that this fall, that hopefully the stewardship committee will be able to provide that guidance. I would add that if there's anybody else interested in joining, that would much appreciate more the barrier, especially in such important call. So thank you. Thank you. No? Good.
Good.
So those are reports from all our committee representatives. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts in general? For any of us?
I would just like to thank the congregation here and just let you know that Grant and I are also looking for your prayers this week. We're leaving on Wednesday to go to Sunbeam for a week. And God is creating something brand new at Sunbeam. The old has passed away and it'll be all brand new going forward. And so we're going to see what that is. And at baptism today, they said, we should let our light shine. And so God, people can see our good works, but the glory goes only to God. That's the only reason for good works is for his glory alone.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one in the woods was all the Windows.